Hello everybody, Ben and Aldous here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 124-113 loss to the LA Clippers. And this game was a tough watch if you're a Raptors fan. The first half was pretty good, looked encouraging there for Toronto, but I don't know, and I didn't fact check this, but I feel like we haven't beaten the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard on their roster, especially in Toronto when he's come home. So it was a tough one. It was a tough one for this Raptors team, facing off against the LA Clippers after coming off two big wins against the New York Knicks as well as the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Toronto Raptors came out, and while we did have some really strong performances from individual players, overall our lack of shooting and our lack of defense just killed our chances of winning once again in this game. And you know, like, you look at the stats, you look at what's going on for this Raptors squad right now, and 26%, 6 of 23 from the three-point line, 0-4 from Pascal Siakam, 0-4 from starting Juancho Hernan-Gomez, went 0-4 in 9 minutes. OG Anunoby was solid 2 of 3, but 0-2 from Scotty, 0-3 from Fred VanVleet, and we did get some production off the bench with Malachi Flynn and Gary Trent Jr. knocking down a couple each, but nothing else from Chris Boucher, Thaddeus Young, and as per usual, none from Ken Burch or Christian Koloko. But the Toronto Raptors, without the ability to knock down three-point shots, our offense can just go through lulls, right? They pack the paint, especially on Pascal Siakam. He's making these drives, and this season Pascal Siakam is really taking his game to the next level in terms of facilitating for others, creating for his teammates. And right now, he's kicking it out to people, he's kicking out to his teammates, and they're just missing. They're selling open shots. So the offense, you're going to go through droughts. If that's how you're sort of structured, if that's how your offense is sort of going to be running, it's what you're going to expect. We aren't going to be able to make defenses pay for loading up on our superstar Pascal Siakam, who was absolutely amazing in this game. You look at his stats from this one: 36 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 13-24 from the field. It would have been nice for him to hit a couple of threes and stuff. Missed a few too many free throws, but overall, just, you can't complain about a guy having 36 and 9 and 5 for your squad. Pascal Siakam continues to dominate this season, and while we did get some production from OG Anunoby, he was expected to do really everything on the other end, right? Guarding Paul George, guarding Kawhi Leonard, whoever he was switched on, he was absolutely just, we ran OG into the ground in this game. 44 minutes, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and did as solid of a job as you can against Kawhis and the Paul Georges of the world. But again, nothing, 5 and 9 from the field. Knocked down a couple threes, which is nice. OG's been struggling with this three-point shot a little bit this season, but OG, right, like, he did his thing. He was pretty solid. And tonight, we'll get get a little drum roll going. And tonight, don't have that animation. We got here the Scotty Barnes Award. It's going to none other than Scotty Barnes himself in this one, who really just had a Scotty-esque game. A really, Rookie of the Year season sort of Scotty-esque game, because in this one, Scotty Barnes had, in 37 minutes, had 17 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, and probably the most encouraging thing I took from this game, I felt from this one, was Scotty Barnes' defense looked really solid, even when he was matched up on Kawhi and Paul George, right? Because OG would usually be on one of them and then Scotty would be on the other. Scotty Barnes held his own, right? Paul George, Kawhi, they're going to hit tough shots, but he stepped up to the mantle. He stepped up to the plate and did a solid enough job, just moving his feet laterally, looking engaged on the defensive end, and that's what we want to see from Scotty Barnes. Obviously, the LA Clippers fully healthy with Kawhi and Paul George in the lineup. They're a tough squad to beat, especially Kawhi just seems to always get W's against the Raptors, so we can't blame him. Maybe there's a mental sort of owning of the Raptors ever since he's left, but Kawhito, whatever you want to call it. But Scotty Barnes was solid in this one, and again, Malachi Flynn coming off the bench, and Gary Trent Jr. Those two guys off the bench. Gary had 20, and then lots of ones in every other category. But Malachi Flynn had, in 26 minutes of action, 10 points, 1 steal. Both those guys played solid defense. We're just solid, right? A couple of the shots, they both hit 2 threes in their own right. Gary missed one that was completely open, but we can't blame him for 2 of 4 from behind the three-point line. But those two guys are pretty solid, but we have just everyone else on the roster not able to really just knock down their shots. And Fred VanVleet in this one was injured. We'll talk about him and all that. But Fred VanVleet, in 23 minutes of action, had 7 assists, right? Played off the ball pretty well, trying to create for others. But 4 points, if he's injured, I'm not gonna. I know a lot of people in the chats, and it's a loss right now. So shout out to Ben, shout out to Iceman like Irvin, giving some comments. I'll take some more comments later on, but a lot of people in the chats are saying how Fred VanVleet was a guy that whenever he plays bad or whenever he's struggling, he fakes an injury. Some people have been saying. I don't think he's actually faking it. I think I agree with Iceman Irvin saying that Nick Nurse has been burning out Fred VanVleet. It's true. It's true. He's not built to sort of take all these minutes to if he didn't sit most of the second half, Nick Nurse probably would have played him another 40-minute night in this one. And Fred VanVleet was getting cooked. He was defensively, he was getting absolutely cooked. Whether it be Reggie Jackson, whether it be whatever guards. He switched on to Terrence Mann a couple possessions. Fred VanVleet was getting absolutely worked around the 3-point line. The drives are just going in. And, when you get burned like that, it's going to affect the defense, and we don't really have that level of rim protection. I mean, Zubac for the LA Clippers he was bullying us on the inside. I mean, in this game, Zubac came into this one, 31 minutes, 23 points, 16 boards, 7 of 13 from the field, and they were just at will, getting shots that they wanted. Reggie Jackson was sort of torching Fred VanVleet around the 3-point line, getting shots around the rim, hitting his floaters and stuff, and Scooby-Doo's out here saying as well, Norman Powell thinks he's him. Norman Powell is that guy, and I want to discuss this as well. NormGod had a little revenge game, 22 points, 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 3. Whatever guards were on him, I thought Gary Trent Jr., right, take a bit of passion, right? This is the guy the Toronto Raptors traded you for, right? This is the guy that, you're being individually compared to by Raptors fans, and while Gary was solid on the offensive end, definitely knocked down his shots, it would have been nice for him to take more passion when you switch on to Norman Powell, because he was getting cooked at times as well. And the Toronto Raptors, I put in the title, I've said in this video, need more 3-point shooting and we need more defense. And while our on-ball defenders I don't think are horrible, especially when Fred VanVleet isn't completely run to the ground, our bigs just are really struggling at this point, right? Like Thaddeus Young, he hustles out there, he's doing a solid job, but again, he's like a role player. Thaddeus Young is a guy that complements a good team. He's not going to be a guy you ask to do a lot at this stage in his career. But Chris Boucher, he was benched in recent outings completely. Didn't even see the floor for Nick Nurse in a couple of recent games. But 9 points in this one. Didn't even take a shot. Fumbled a fast break layup. He's just looking absolutely out of sync right now, out of sorts. And we just gave this guy a 3-year contract this summer. So was he fighting for a contract last year? Who really knows? But Chris Boucher has not looked like that guy. And, the cruise missile. The cruise missile. Let's get this animation going, because especially at the start of the second half, especially when things were sort of going, the cruise missile was not looking too hot. Went 0-4 from the 3-point line at the starting position, and he got some open, absolutely naked looks. Zubac was just staying underneath the rim, letting him shoot, and it's just unfortunate the way he was playing. He's gotten some credit for his hustle and his defense and stuff, but if he's just going to absolutely be selling as bad as this around the 3-point line, when that's his really only source of offense at this point, we can't have Precious Achiuwa return fast enough, because we need him to start the center spots, or something has to change, something has to happen. I see Miles Turner popping up in the chat, so I don't know. Things really need to get going. And Iceman Gervin saying the Raptors could have had Walker Kessler. Yeah, it's tough. And putting the miss in the cruise missile, you hate to see that. And the Toronto Raptors were looking so good. I was saying that you make a bit of money betting on the squad, but probably betting against them when they play the LA Clippers. Right, that's the direction you go. And if you guys do want to bet on these Toronto Raptors games, definitely check out CoolBet, the best sportsbook in Canada. You can sign up. They're regulated all across the country, and get all the lines for every single Raptors game, NBA game, any really sport you want to bet on. You can use the CoolBet app and sign up using our link down below. You can get custom odds and custom futures that we have direct contact in with the CoolBet guys. So when Goody's doing those watch alongs, he has custom bets. So definitely sign up for CoolBet. It helps out the channel big time, but it's not looking too hot for betting on the Toronto Raptors or betting on the Raptors right now. It's tough. It's a tough look for this Raptors team, but I don't know. Looking at the box score, right, Juancho wasn't solid. Boucher struggled. Koloko, he had a nasty dunk, but he ended up going down with injury himself. So hopefully Koloko ends up ends up stepping or not having a serious injury. Obviously, he's been sort of out of the rotation in recent games as well, but I don't know. Guys, I purchased 2K over this holiday season. The last 2K I had was 2K20, so I'm playing with a couple friends, and I said I may as well just get 2K23. And looking at the squad, especially this bench in 2K, because you can sort of gauge, how they're rating it from the outside in. And this team is strong. The Raptors are usually pretty bad in 2K, except that 2019 team. But our bench right now is tough. It's a tough look right now. We need Otto Porter Jr. We need Precious back. And as Fred VanVleet sort of put it, this team is not built to sustain injuries. We don't have that depth, especially when Chris Boucher is struggling to this extent. We aren't that squad. We aren't that elite of a squad right now. And sure, if we have our starters cooking, especially if the three-point shots are going down, we need everyone firing on all cylinders because we don't have a lot of room for error because Scotty Barnes is not going to be hitting a bunch of threes night in, night out. Fred VanVleet hasn't been that consistent. Now, Malachi Flynn has been a huge boost. It's been a huge positive, but we need more shooting. So it's tough. It's tough. But let's swing it into the segments, and that's not the segment. The first thing we're taking a look at is the one, the other, the one, the only, the spicy Pele of the day. And I just brought up Christian Koloko. And Christian Koloko had a nasty dunk in this one. Now, it ended up being followed up by a little OGs, but, dunk to Koloko, driving the lane. And that's how I sort of want to see him. I feel like Christian Koloko, as of late, has been just not playing with the same intensity we saw him at the start of the year. Now, he was a big question mark for other teams. He probably wasn't on other teams' scouting reports coming into games, so he may have taken advantage of that, but teams may have figured him out a little bit. But every time Christian Koloko was underneath the rim starting off the season, he's trying to dunk everything. He was trying to slam everything down, right? None of the soft sort of finishes, and tonight had one solid dunk, but didn't do much else. And so now he went down with injury, but I thought Koloko was having a pretty solid game. Right, I like that aggressiveness. I like that aggressiveness from Christian Koloko. So hopefully that motivates him if he's healthy going forward to come back in and try to poster people some more. But in all plays, it's going to be the spicy Pele of the day, and some just make you say, oh, geez. And tonight, the OG's play of the day. There's just Raptors getting blown by, people just attacking the rim, doing their thing against our squad. The lack of defense is absolutely killing me right now. And the number of three-point shots are just missing, the open looks, shooting defense. It's the common theme of the season. It's the common theme of this podcast, and it's the theme of this OGs. But finally, the infamous, the one, the oldie, the Paul Pierce Golden Kazoo Award of the evening. It's going to none other than Juancho Hernangomez. What is it? The cruise missile. The cruise missile. Missing those threes, man. That's brutal. That is brutal. And I guess the injury gods for keeping Precious Otto Porter Jr. out. Fred VanVleet dealing with his back stiffness, and who knows how long he'll be out with that. And Koloko potentially going down as well. So just an unfortunate night for the Toronto Raptors. Again, not the funnest game, especially after a couple of nice W's. I don't know if there's a lot of stuff we can properly dive into. The chat's not that interested. And Scooby-Doo saying, why is it called the Golden Kazoo? During the tanking season, Kenneth Lau saying tank is the answer, but I got sad one game just watching our team squad. I fully committed to the tank. The animation had a kazoo in it. Riker wasn't a fan of the kazoos, so it became a meme. Play the kazoos, and I'm not playing them yet. I'm not playing them yet this season. I'm not going in that direction, but yet. Keyword yet. But I still think this season can be salvaged, especially with the way Pascal Siakam's been playing. Get some 3-and-D guys into the squad, build around Siakam, and we can go in a nice direction. But it was tough. So we had the kazoos going and all that. But folks, this year, where's the tank animations? They'll be coming if we have to. They'll be coming if we have to. But Iceman Gervin is saying he's balling out in Brooklyn. Nick Nurse didn't instill confidence in him. Well, at least we're instilling a bit of confidence in Malachi Flynn at this point. He's been great. Nice to see Flynn sort of rehab his value a little bit. But when we win, Rikers come back on the pod. But it's gonna be a while. Gonna be a while till we get those dubs. But yet, it will be soon. Can't wait for the tank Tough. Get the Wembanyama. Terrence Davis in the chat trying to get Wembanyama, trying to get us to lose some games as we face off against Sacramento Kings at some point. But, you know, is Jace saying why is Juancho Hernangomez starting? He shouldn't be starting at center. I guess we won a couple games with him starting at center, but selling the 3-point shots is absolutely brutal right now. We should just put Siakam and Fred on injury reserve and for the tank. You know, that's how it goes. But hey, we have a super chat coming in from Realzy saying, I know times are tough, but never stop going live 100%. For sure. For sure. The lost lives are tough, but I appreciate all the real ones pulling into the chat, coming in. Appreciate you, Realzy. And I don't know, it's tough, the post games, when we don't have a direction. If we are going full out tank, if we are blowing kazoos, riding the tank wave, this is the time for or it's fun. The lives are fun because we're rooting for something bad. And when we're good, obviously the live streams are amazing. But in this middle ground, the Raptors are just killing me right now. I want us to do something, start winning some games, and I'm confident with our New York Knicks win and our Cavs win that we can go in that direction. But a move will likely have to be made in order for us to do that do that consistently. So that's what's happening. We got to get a head coach in there who's going to play the deep part of our bench. I don't know if playing the deep bench is it's the proper direction, but I definitely think Jeff Doughton deserves some run, especially when Fred VanVleet's struggling. Like, just sit Fred and give Doughton those minutes. That's what's happening. And why did it take 3 years to start playing Malachi Flynn? Predator Kingdom, I don't know if he's not playing. Wasn't playing defense there for a little bit. Was inconsistent in the 3-point shots, but he's given a proper opportunity. I agree. He deserved like a proper run for this. This team was put on too tight of a leash. Delano Vanton has also messed up the Malachi Flynn development system, I think, because nerds sometimes look at Banton and say, oh, this guy's gushing with potential, and they try to split minutes and they're both bad. So it's just a tough situation. Scooby-Doo misses Matty Ice. That 2020 year was a great year. TD and Matty Ice as our like potential prospects, but they obviously didn't work out for the squad. We need a heavyweight center like Pirtle. Pirtle will definitely help the defense though. And Truly Wings is saying another Siakam masterclass. Pascal Siakam is a beast. He's an absolute unit. And that's the main reason I'm not about tanking. And as Genfro may have mentioned, we could just sit for Pascal Siakam, Fred. Rest him for the game. You can't sit a guy that's having an all-NBA caliber season, but I don't know. It's a weird direction. Can we please address the issues with the front office? I can't stand them letting us play 3 years without a center. Yeah, it's tough. I like that we drafted Koloko, but he's a rookie. He's not going to be a guy that's consistent, relied upon right now. So that's tough. Remember Hollis Jefferson. I am shocked that we let Rondé Hollis Jefferson go. That's been a brutal loss in my opinion. But Nurse got to go. He's great for a championship team, trash for a developing team. Yeah, I agree that Nick Nurse is a much better coach for a winning team. We don't want Nick Nurse running a development squad, but we were the 5th seed last year. But a lot of that was due to Nick Nurse getting the most out of the squad, playing guys, running them to the ground, which he had to do to win games. But I don't think we fire Nick Nurse. I just think we make the roster better. That's my take. But I guess that's every team's take. So if I'm the Clippers, I'm trading Jackson and Kennard for Lowry. Lowry's injuries are a question mark, but if he's gettable, the Miami Heat said he could potentially be gettable. Yeah, I'd probably do that if I was the Clippers. That's probably a good trade both sides. But we gotta see how Precious is gonna. He's supposed to take a big jump too with the 3-pointers real. Yeah, Precious is gonna be key for the squad. Not sure why we got rid of Powell. Chat, let me know what you're thinking right now. Who would you rather have on the roster? The NormGod, Norman Powell, or Gary Trent Jr.? The star boy, Gary Trent Jr. Let me know in the chat. Throw in a Norm or throw in a Gary in the chat. And I want to see what people have to say about it because I feel like that's fairly interesting. That's something that we need to get going. Ben Rogers needs to replace Booby Webster. I swear to God, I'm not joking. Hey, I'm nice with those 2K rebuilds. That's all I have to say. Got those back. But yeah, no, I trust our front office. We got a NormGod from Siakam, Terrence Davis is saying Trent, Norman, Norm. 3-1. 3-1. It's a hard one. I agree, Predator Kingdom. Probably Norm, but his contract isn't amazing. Been saying this for so long, we should have kept Hustle Jefferson. Definitely agree. Hustleman Chap should have been a guy we keep. But Trent 2 times. Yeah, they're both very similar players. I mean, if you look at their stats tonight, they put up very, very similar games. But the one thing about Norm, okay, this is my argument in both directions. Norman Powell is, he, especially at his latest, like his last season with the Raptors and his season with the Portland Trailblazers, yes, he'd have up and down games. Norman Powell was a mildly inconsistent player, but he was shooting like 45% from corner threes with the Raptors the season he left. I'm not sure what it's at this year. I don't know what it's at when he left for the Blazers, but when we traded him, he was shooting 45% from the three-point line and upwards of like, it had to be in the 50s in terms of what he was making from the three-point line in the corners. For all the ups and downs of Norman Powell, the guy could reliably hit a three-point shot. Defensively, he was a bit undersized, but he hustled, and the fact that we had Kyle Lowry and Fred VanVleet sort of in the backcourt, we were kind of undersized on that front. Gary Trent Jr. is a little bit bigger, he's a little bit of a better defender, and he's a little bit better of like a creator, if that makes sense. Norman Powell can like make those straight line drives, finish at the rim, or can make those like catch and shoot threes. But if you look at how the Raptors are sort of structured right now, we kind of need a guy that makes catch and shoot threes. With the way Pascal Siakam has not only been drawing in defenders, but facilitating, right? Gary Trent Jr., while he's not bad on that front, this season he has been not living up to expectations. He's not a catch and shoot three. He's a guy that I'm going to stop the ball a little bit, try and make a drive, try and make a midi, which is definitely something we could use as well, but Norman Powell just makes those open threes, which could be very valuable for this Raptors squad. And the drives, the explosion, and I might say it. Well, the Starboy is fun, and I don't want us to just trade the Starboy for nothing. And the contracts, all that has to be said about the contract and stuff. Norm was just more of a Raptors culture guy, I feel like. Just was completely bought in. UTG, was homies with Fred VanVleet. He had those championship vibes. I'm not saying he's a better player than Gary Trent Jr. because I think they're both very comparable. Like if, I think there's marginal improvements in either side. They both do similar things. If we lose Gary Trent Jr., especially it depends on what we actually get in return for him, if he walks for nothing. If Gary Trent Jr. loses, this trade was a trade was a massive L. Massive L. But if you get to keep Gary Trent Jr., let him develop, because Gary is a lot younger. Right, we see what he does in the future. Then yeah, we'll see what happens. And Jenfront, I definitely agree. Gary Trent Jr. is more of a shot creator, but without doubt, I don't know what you're disagreeing because I agree that Gary Trent Jr. is more of a shot creator, but Norm is more reliable at those catch and shoot threes. That's what I was sort of saying. But that's what's happening. It's 10:38 in Toronto, mainly nighttime access. I don't know what's happening there. But Siakam over Kawhi. Love that. But Matt Thomas is overrated. Yeah, that's true. We don't have enough shot creators on this team. With Pascal Siakam, I don't know. Pascal Siakam is that guy. Pascal Siakam can do those things. And OG can kind of create. Fred can kind of create. Norman Powell can still slash. But, the Raptors just need those spacing. People are bringing up times right now. 12:09 here in St. John's, Newfoundland. So that's what time we're rocking out. But 2:40 for Truly Wings out in Australia. That's late, my guy, or early. I don't know what direction the time is. Yeah, it's early, probably earlier. Let me know if it's 2:40 a.m. or it's p.m. Jeez, that's way earlier. Mixing up my times. Don't know what's happening. Logan, who are you suggesting as coach? Yeah, I'm not on the Nick Nurse fire wagon just yet. Matt Thomas is riding off the 99% shooting. Man, we had like a random video from Matt Thomas just go absolutely nuclear when we signed him. It's one of our biggest performing vids. It's crazy. But who is the best trade target for us right now? Turner's the best, probably, in my opinion. Like, obviously, Zach LaVine is better player than Turner, but contract-wise, fit-wise, I don't know if I'm sold on him. But if we get Zach LaVine for a decent price, then I'd be there. We're getting killed by big centers. We need Precious. Yeah, we also... The Raptors need a lot of things right now. This team is kind of broken. That's just what's going on. Now with Otto, he'll help. Precious will definitely help. But this team is a little bit broken at this point. So we have a lot of stuff that we need to Scooby-Doo. Let's get Luka. You love to see it. We need a second superstar while Siakam's in his prime. That's true. I don't know if trade for Steven Adams, my guy. He'd help in the regular season without a doubt. That is true. But folks, nothing too crazy happening in this game. Appreciate everyone that tuned in for the live stream here. Get some sleep. I'm in a little basketball tournament this week over Christmas break, so definitely gonna hop get a little sleep. It's 12. What time is it? 12:11 here. Yeah, 12:11. But folks, you guys are the best for making this far. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It means the world to us. Sign up for CoolBet. Helps us out big time. It's free to sign up. Like, you get those sign-ups, you get those conversions. Helps us support the channel and all that. But folks, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.